Hi guys, okay, today we're going to do a little bit more talking about stealth and how to move quietly. Now you can use this for hunting, you can use this for your stealth camping, you can use this whatever. But what we're going to deal with now, we've already dealt with how to not go in straight line, how to come in and put listening to tell if something's coming toward you. Now let's talk about how we can avoid getting detected to begin with. How we don't transmit who we are and what we're doing out to the environment for both game and for people or etc. or other hunters that might want to be following you because you've been doing really good and I want to know that honey hole is where he's got these deer at he keeps getting, them hogs, or that secret fishing hole covering your tracks. So now of course right now I've got everything, I'm just wearing my stuff. I'm not wearing my camo, I ain't got nothing on that I'd be wearing if I was trying to really hide. Okay, let's talk about how to move. And I'm going to show you a couple little tricks like I was taught by my grandfather on ways to go in and out. First, you don't go in and out in a straight line. You want to minimize how big a signature. I want you to look straight ahead of you. This open out in here, right? Notice this clump over here and that clump over there. I am going to weave between them. I'm not going to walk straight in. So I'm going to come around from the right hand side. I want you to watch me. I'm going to show you how I would move in to penetrate into that environment. Okay? I hope you could see that. That was a young doe laying there and I knew it. I saw it when I come up to it and I stopped here. And you just watched me twist and move and move and move until finally I was about 15, 20 feet from that doe when she jumped up and took off. Now you didn't see that, did you, to begin with? She was right there where that sunlight is, where that pine, that's where she was at. And I caught just a glimpse of her and knew she was laying there, dozing in the sun, out of sight, in this wide open. I mean, look around here, look how wide open this is. And I spotted her because I looked from movement and I saw her blink. So I stopped my vehicle, I come up and I set up my camera, and I went to talking to you about how we was going to do it. And you watched how I come along that edge and I rotated in. I didn't do any disturbance. I hit a vine sitting there with a big old spider web on it. I just gently lifted it up, went under it and went around. I didn't disturb the spider web. I shifted across and I started moving my way parallel to her, not going straight at her. It was only whenever I turned to face her, like 10 yards max, like 25 feet. She jumped and she hauled butt. That's how you move. My movement didn't spook her. If I'd walked straight at her, she'd been gone. She didn't. And notice I went like that. She hesitated after I popped. If I was going to be shooting or hunting, she's probably, I didn't hear her running, so she's probably no more than 25 yards right down there right now. And if I did a slow 360 and come in, I could spiral into her. If I had a bow, it'd be real quiet. Thump, and that'd be it. Now, let's go back to the rest of the lesson plan about how to be quiet now that I've demonstrated how to get close. Okay, hold on a minute. One, when I pulled up and I spotted that through that fairly thick bush, I saw just a part of a face and an eye. And in my mind, what I was seeing was a yearling doe. Let me clarify that. A yearling doe is a fawn that's like 5-6 months old. It's where it's lost its spots, it's losing its spots, and it's a little bit bigger, you know, but it's still taken care of by mama. And they're about the size of a small Australian shepherd or a border collie. That'd be closer really a border collie. Longer leg, but that. And so that's what I was pretty sure was in there. So I set the camera up figuring this ain't never going to work. I'm never going to get this to do da-da-da. And what I was hoping was I was going to circle around to the left and it was going to break and come running straight at the camera. That's what I was hoping. And it didn't work. And so as I get up there and I'm, you know, excited, hey, this is cool. And I can still see little teeny bits through the bush. And as I get there, it shifted right. And I thought, great, it's going to work. And just then it turned and bolted left at high speed. And it's only on the camera like that long. I think it's like 3.1 seconds. And it's gone. And boom, it's down through there. Well, I went and looked at it. And then I sent it off to my good friend Trinity. And I said, take a look at this and make sure that I'm seeing what I'm seeing. I'm saying it's a fawn jumping and running because it faked me out. I looked to the right and then it went left, and by the time I'm turning back it's already going, and I'm seeing it going down through the woods. Well, I'm seeing two legs doing like that. Bunny rabbits do like that. This was doing like that, like a doe runs, like a deer runs. So I'm sticking to what I'm saying is, I know what it looks like on the camera. It looks like a bunny, until you consider how far away the camera's supposed to be. That's supposed to be about 45 yards from where the camera is to about where that tree is where that thing went by at high speed. Zoop. It was on the camera that long, and there's a glare. When you try to bring it up, it just pixelates out because that bright sunlight right there, and it kind of distorts the image a little bit. So from me standing there, I believe it was a yearling doe that took off because of the way it ran and everything else. On camera, it looked like a chupacabra, you know. And when I showed it to my friend Trinity, she took one look at it and said, you found a chupacabra. So, just wanted to share that good laugh with you. Okay, now let's get back to the video. I want you to notice all these briars right here. Now I want to go in there without them tearing into me and getting all over my clothes or damaging the plant, because that would leave a telltale sign. So I want to ease in. Now what I'm going to do is this kind of motion. I'm going to take my foot and I'm going to gently go to the side and just lightly press out of the way. That moves the briar away from me so I can pass, and then it'll spring back up. So we do like this. Come up, take my foot, go left. Now I'm going to, it caught me. I'm going to gently pick it up and put it to the side. Come around. I'll take my foot and I'm going to gently push at the base, just like that. Just like that. Now I got one right here. Gently take the base, step on it, step over. Now notice, still looks natural. All the leaves are still up, don't look crushed flat or nothing. But where I stepped right yonder, it'll slowly stand back up. The next half hour, 45 minutes, it'll come back up. That's how you go through briars and things. You take your foot and you catch it at the base and just roll it downhill a little so you can step by it. It'll come back up, but you don't attract a lot of attention. And like I said, it caught me because it went to step, because I'm old and I'm not as sneaky as I used to be. But when I went to lean forward, that tip hooked me. That's fine, just freeze. Reach down, grab the stalk further down. There are more thorns toward the end. Toward the middle, there are less thorns. They're bigger thorns, but there are less thorns. And grab it and just gently pull it away from me and move it out. Nice, fluid, smooth motion. No fast motion. That's what attracts things. Okay, visual line of sight. People are up here around 5 feet, and so their eye line is about 5 feet. Deer are more like 4 feet to 3 feet, depending on the deer. Bears and things, 3 feet. Dogs, 3 feet or less. So they're down here looking that way. So what initially right here, because all of this yopon and all, this is all in my visual line right here, see? And so were I to go around on the far side right there, you would not see me easily. Let me show you. That visual curtain at eye level right there. But notice how this ground is dropping down and away, etc. Now let me change your perspective just a little bit. Okay, now you're looking at about 3 feet. You can see clean through the other side underneath yonder. Now I'm going to walk around the other side where you couldn't see me a minute ago. And now I want you to see if you can see my legs on the other side. Now did you see through motion me moving on the far side? Of course, because you could see motion through all that. There's a lot going on there that would confuse you. If it just stood still, you'd be a stick in a pile of sticks. But I was moving, and I'm wearing a lighter color, and it reflected. And so therefore it attracted attention in the 3-foot level of acuity. So what I'm trying to share there is layers vertically. You have to remember that your visual acuity is at 5 or 6 feet or however you are. I'm looking through here, but if I squat down, I see a different world. And so if I'm trying to hide my silhouette from a deer, he's this much shorter than me. He's actually seeing here. That's what he sees. This is what I see. So if I think, man, that's good thick cover right there, and then I squat down on one knee and look, and it's wide open down there at 3 feet. I don't have really good cover from a dog now, do I? Or from a child. A child's only 2.5, 3 feet tall, little, and go, hey, point you out. So you got to think about that layered acuity. Okay? Now let's talk about how the edge of the woods is, because this is our entry point. Now you just saw minutes ago when I went in and spooked that deer. The idea here is at the edge of the field, that's where you're going to have all them briars, the vines, because you're getting sufficient sunlight flashing in from the side in the morning or the evening. Now, let's talk about that. I have this section of road right here, like I did doing your Big E, what's the evaluation? Okay, it's on this side, right. Is this the east or west side? If it's east side, it means in the morning sun's going to penetrate very deeply down in the woods, now ain't it? If it's the western side, it's going to mean that the western sun is going to penetrate way down. It still means on either side of that woods, you're going to have briars and bushes and stuff like this, yopon and stuff like that, pioneer species, sweet gum and stuff like that, to a depth of how deep before it opens up. See? And so how far do I have to penetrate and how quietly? I don't want to go in a straight line. I want to slice in like you saw me going, slicing in, moving, because I don't want to disturb what the outside looks like. I want to cut a road in there. I just want to see a natural opening. But you've got an advantage. Nature's already done it. Deer and things like that have already picked out natural crossing points. Use those when you can to slice in. If you ever notice it, a deer crossing or something that comes out of a field or whatever and goes into a thick grove full of briars and all kinds of stuff, man, it's going to be a nightmare to go through in there. It always goes straight and it turns. It's never a straight penetration. A cow trail is. A cow's just a straight trail. Okay guys, notice right there, that's the end of a fence. Fence is wrapped around that tree and goes to the left. You can see it shining in the sun right there. But this right here is not. And it's right up on the edge. So if someone was to get right here and immediately hop right up to that pine, you could go down on the far side of that fence, which is cleared to penetrate deep in, and then go in. I wouldn't want to go in straight there, so that's too much like a path. I'd want to, but that, if you'll look right there, so those limbs and things, those vines or whatever that's right there, that would be something I'd want to avoid. I'd come out and want to clear that before I actually went in, so that when I step around that corner and proceed down that fence 30-40 yards and then enter, I want to enter down here close to that telephone pole where there is no easy and obvious and immediate access. Let me pull down here a little bit and I'll show you. Okay, right here. So there's the fence. And so that pole right there, that telephone pole, would be my marker to turn and go in. And right there, past that pole, you see how thick it is. That'd be the perfect place for me to slide in sideways and go in, so that my entry and extraction point is this pole. Now if I've got a buddy that's picking me up, I tell him that that's the pole. Notice that the fence is turning a corner right there. So that'd be a good place for me to go in up there and come up to here and then penetrate right in here. And a pickup point would be this pole. It makes it easy to get in and out. Okay. Big wide sand. That would leave tracks. Want to avoid that. Big old tall grass with briars. That's actually a hill going up, see? And then woods on the other side, but there is a fence there. I need to do my eval ahead of time. If somebody's going to drop me off and they pull me up close to the edge where I can just take one step and then hop off, and so I don't go into that, would be good. But now look at them nice dense woods, and there is a fence there, but it's just a three strand. I can go around it. It is not continuous, so you can go around it. But that up bank, I don't want to make anything that's going to slide down. See right there, something has stepped, a canine has stepped. And that's left drag marks. It's easy to ID that something stepped there and went up. See where it kicked down fresh dirt off that edge? That's a dead giveaway. I want to avoid that. I want you to notice this wide open path right here. Big patches of sunlight. Now we've got far enough in now from the edge that these pockets of brush are going to be around the bases of the trees. That's because in the bright sun straight up it's getting enough light. Pine trees. Big old oaks and things, they smother that out so that it becomes more and more open the deeper you go. Now you look down there and you see how open and wide open that is. Okay, that's where the trail is, but it's that big old clump of bush. That big old clump of bush at the base is kind of hard to see around. Good place to put a hide at the base of that, because I could go gather from around here other like-minded plants and bring them in and increase my blind, and it wouldn't attract a lot of attention because it's already dark under there. See, now I bet you once I breach under there, it's damn near wide open because it's smothered out everything. But if I bring in a few extra tops of this or that and just quietly cut, and that's where a saw or a pair of clippers comes in very handy. So if I go up to a yopon like that and quietly just slip it, alright, that's an additional piece I can stick in the ground between me and the perceived. That right there is where they're going to be coming in. Well, I want to put this between us. And then I go over here a few feet away, not in the same area, And I grab another one. Just like that. Now this is big and open, isn't it? Alright, I take it and I put it that way. I take this one, I put it that way. I take this one I've already done and put it right there. I take this one and pull this way. You see what I'm doing? I'm making this thicker as I go along. This is going to be stuck in the ground, chunk, between you and me. And I'm going to put one or two more like this between you and me. And that's an obvious spot. I can see out right there so they can see in. Put that in there. I can look through this at you, but it breaks me up as long as I hold still. Now if I move, but if I'm still, I break up the silhouette. That natural bounce and wind doesn't attract your attention. But even with this, notice this shirt. How much does it break it up when it's over it? That old beard I talked about, that manly beard, how much does it disappear whenever I put a layer between you and me? See? Now how long will that stay green? A couple of days. Yopon. It doesn't fade fast. But what I do is I pick my hide, my observation place. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to make improvements. I'm not going to chop anything. Take my knife and I'm going to demonstrate that right now, how to do this. Take my knife, and I'm going to push down on it at the top, and then come up from the other side, just like that. It makes a sharp point on it, and at the same time, it leaves next to nothing to catch your eye down there. Push, pull. Just a simple push, pull, and I've got a point. Now this slides in and makes more cover. I want my cover in depth. I want to be able to see out. But if I'm sitting dead still, I don't want you to see in. I want to be so broke up. Now notice how this is naturally. On the bottom side, your leaves are light colored because that's in the shade. On the top color, they're dark. So which do I want to have facing you? The brighter leaf or the darker leaf? The darker leaf. So I want to turn it so it's naturally the darker leaves out. So it's even less for you to see. Now I put a couple of layers deep in so that I can see out but you don't see in. As long as I sit still, I don't detect. But if I'm moving, you detect much easier. And that's true of nature. Okay? I want to egress in, but not go in a straight line. We already talked about that. So let's say I'm going to make that big bush right under my hide. At the base of that tree, so there's a pine tree right in the middle of it. And underneath it's open. Let's go investigate a little bit. Okay, here I am out probably 20 yards at max from it. See, it's nice, big and open all the way around, plenty of sight. But then right there at the base it gets dark. Let's circle around to the right and see what it looks like from that angle. Okay, here it is from the back, from the wood side. It's where a big limb has come down and grabbed all this light stuff and pushed it down. So right there at the base would be a good place, right in that darkness right in there, for me to come in, add a few more limbs, put a little pine straw over it, a few more yopons, or etc. And my silhouette is totally broke up, while at the same time it's an easy in and out. See, the sight's going to come from that direction. So I come in J back here at the back and come into my blind right here and not going to attract attention. And then to the back of it is this wide open. I got to be conscious of that sun to my back, and also a widowmaker right there. This would not be a good place for me to get. Why? Because that widowmaker might fall on me, pin me, hurt me, or do some damage to me. Now my blind that I was just detailing is too far away. That wouldn't hit me, it's short. But if it was taller, I need to be aware of that. Always look up for widowmakers. Make sure you're not making your own booby trap. So, let us recap. I want to come in and I want to establish a hide, a blind, a place that I can look for game for stalk hunting, or a place that I can observe for whatever reason I'm out here, okay, without attracting attention to me. One, I'm going to go up and down the road and I'm going to look for a natural egress in there, a deer trail, something like that that's already established and it's a fast path in that I do not have to, you know, cut one in. And I never want to cut a trail in. It's too obvious. See, when I'm going to harvest my blind material, I'm going to spread it out over a big area and I'm going to do it right down at the ground, and I'm not going to deprive anything. So if this tree over here has got 15 or 20 big clumps around it, I'm not going to take all that. That attracts attention. I might take one or two and then go over there and take one or two and over there. Yeah, this is time consuming, ain't it? Good hides are. But I'm going to establish that as that's my place. I'm going to add stuff to it. Just like when you were a kid building a play fort. I'm going to make it as quiet as possible. No chopping, no banging, no nothing. At any point that I think I hear something, I go dead silent and listen. Now let's say that this right behind me is a road right there, and I hear a vehicle coming. I should plunge deeper, get against the tree to block, so that the vehicle is coming from that way. I'm going to be lined up edge onto this tree. As the truck passes, I will move around the tree, always keeping the tree between me and it, just like a squirrel does. Therefore, I'm not giving away. Do I need to go low? Whatever. Remember, as I pointed out, things are at different levels. So once I decide that looks pretty good, squat down on your heels, start at 2 feet off the ground, and come up. Is it still a good place? Or do I do this and suddenly that's wide open? I can see 50 yards in there. That would be a dead giveaway to a dog or some other animal I'm trying to hunt, like a hog or something like that. They can see me easier. Deer can see me easier. Now I spooked that deer and it trotted in there probably another 10 yards and it went to ground. And the whole time we've been talking, I've been listening. Nothing's moved over there. So either they've slipped into those planted pines right down there, which is a garden. Planted pines are just silent traveling. But I don't think so. I think they're still right there about 30, 40 yards from me in that thick. But now they've J-hooked to their secondary hide. And now they've got big vines and stuff, and they're probably laying there watching me. They're hearing me for sure. They hadn't panicked and run, have they? That's their bedroom. This Jayhawker's walked in, he's talking over there. But they're used to humans. They're not going to panic, and neither should I. So once I get a good hide set up, okay, this is my hide. Where's my fallback? If I got to leave this, where's my other place to go? Down here in this bottom to here. How's my egress path out of here? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay? I already have that mapped out and planned in your head, so you know exactly where to go. Don't be going like a deer in panic. That deer knew exactly where to go to get away from me. Same way. If I come here, and I got here, and let's say a bunch of people have offloaded out of a vehicle right up here, not 50 yards from me, and they're getting out. Don't know what they're going to do, right? Are they going that way, or are they going to just start walking around here? I need to quietly have my route planned out for me to egress downhill, out of sight, get the ridge line between me and them, and progress out of the area. Go ahead and let them have it. It's not worth sitting still. Plus, what are they doing? Are they coming out here to hunt? Because they got dogs and they're going to go rabbit hunting. I'm down low, they got a dog and they got a shotgun, and something white and bushy moving might get shot at. So I need to be thinking about that. Things like that ahead of time. Always have a plan. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. There'll be more coming up. Thank you very much for all support. And if you would, please leave a like before you go, and drop any comments or thoughts down in the description, into the below. I'd really appreciate it. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day.